Okay, so continuing on here with our examples for prerequisite 5, the algebra expressions in trig. When you're foiling and you have 3 terms, just pick 2 and foil them, and then we'll come back and we have to foil again with the third one. But you can't just take everything through all in one shot. That is incorrect. So first we're just going to pretend that we're going to take these two and foil them together. So forget about this for right now. We'll come back to that. X times x is x squared. X times 3 is positive 3x. 4 times x is positive 4x. 4 times 3 is 12. So we combined our like terms, and the only like terms I see are the x's, right? A 3x and a 4x. So that's 7x. Now, can't forget about this x minus 1. I have to bring that down. So there it is. I bring that down so that we can utilize that. But now I need to FOIL again. And it looks just like what we just did, those other problems that we just did with foiling. So x times x squared, right? A 1 and a 2, that's x cubed. X times a 7x is 7x squared. X times 12 is a positive 12 x. Then we move on, negative 1 times x squared. Well, negative 1 times 1 is a negative 1, and that x squared comes along for the ride. Negative 1 times 7 is negative 7, and that x comes along for the ride. And negative 1 times 12 is a negative 12. All you need to do now is to combine your like terms, which is exactly like what we've been doing. So start high, got an x cubed. Are there any other x's cubes? No. So I just bring that down. X's squared. So I have 7 x's squareds, and I have negative 1 x's squared. So 7 minus 1 is positive 6 x's squared. 12 x's minus 7 x's, because I'm on to x's now. Are there any other x's? Nope. So 12 of them minus 7 of them is 5 of them, since it's a positive 5. That's why I have plus 5x. And there are no other numbers, so it is just a minus 12, and there is your answer. So now foiling with this is the same. It's just more steps to foil. So I'm going to start on the outside. X squared times x squared is x to the fourth, because once again, you add the exponents. 2 plus 2 is 4. X squared times an x, well, that's like a 1. So what is 2 and 1? That's 3. So that's why this is a positive x cubed. And x squared times 1 is just x squared. So I move on to the middle term. Negative x times x squared, well, that's a 1 and a 2, so that's x cubed. But this is a negative 1 times 1. That's why it's a negative x cubed. Negative x times x, well, we know x times x is x squared. You've been doing that for a long time now. However, this is a negative. Negative 1 times a 1 is a negative 1. That's why it's a negative 1 x squared. And negative x times 1 is negative x. Last term is a 1. Well, this one will be easy. 1 times x squared is x squared. 1 times x is x. 1 times 1 is 1. And there are all my terms. Now I have to combine my like terms. So, I have an x to the fourth, and there are no other x's to the fourths anywhere else. I have an x cubed here and a negative x cubed here. So guess what? They end up crossing each other out, so there are no x's cubes. I have an x squared, a negative x squared, so they'll cross out, but then I have another x squared. So these two cross out, but I have an x squared left over. So I have an x squared that I can put down there. This is an x and a negative x, they cancel out, so really all I have left is an x squared and a positive 1. And there is your answer. We can use the formulas, the product formulas we just talked about, to do this. Or if you wanted to just FOIL it, you could just FOIL it. And when some of these exponents get really crazy like this, I personally just like to FOIL it. If you FOIL it, then you have less likelihood of forgetting what the formula is and forgetting to put something in. So with this, you just write them side by side. You do not just take that 2 through to everything, because that's what most people think you do. This means you write those twice side by side, and then you FOIL. So 3x cubed times 3x cubed. 3 times 3 is 9. And remember, you add the exponents. So cubed and cubed is x to the 6th. 3x cubed times negative 4y squared. Well, 3 times a negative 4 is negative 12. These variables do not go together, and x and a y aren't the same. Since they aren't the same, that's why I just wrote them side by side. x's cubes and y squares don't go together, so I just wrote them there side by side. Over here, negative 4y squared times 3x cubed. Well, negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. But once again, right, this is cubed, x is cubed, and this is y squared. They don't go together, so I just wrote them side by side. And then negative 4y squared and negative 4y squared. Well, negative 4 times negative 4 is positive 16. And then you just add the exponents together because y's are the same. So 2 plus 2 is 4. Now you have to see if you can combine anything together. There are no other x's to the sixth. There are no other y to the fourth. But look here. X cubed y squared. X cubed y squared. They are exactly the same. If I have negative 12 of these, and I have negative 12 of these, I actually have negative 24 of those. And that's how you combine them together. And last but not least here, just going to distribute here the negatives through a negative 5x squared. And negative times a negative is a positive 1. Negative times a negative is a positive 3x squared. And a negative times a positive 5 is a negative 5. Now all you need to do is combine your like terms. Negative 5x squared plus 3x squared is negative 2x squared. 1 and a negative 5 is a negative 4. Just combines your like terms. So if you have any other questions or concerns with any of these examples, please let me know. You can email me. You could, I guess, try to contact me through YouTube. But either way, I hope these examples helped, and I hope you keep watching. Talk to you soon.